Peace, peace, peace. Today, I'm just going to be responding to some comments under the Imhotep is Joseph video. Because there seems to be some confusion with a lot of the things that I've said. So, yeah, let's go do that. Now, one of the main points I want to address, because a lot of people seem to have a problem with this, and I feel like I deadass said this in this video. Excuse the cussing. For the biblical videos, I try not to do it. But anyway, I think I said that the timelines don't match up, right? I said that in the video, and I gave you my reasoning. For anybody that knows anything about the Bible and the way that it's looked at today, obviously they're going to do everything they can to discredit the people that existed during that time, especially if they were recorded in the Bible. So why in the world would they tell you when Joseph existed with so much ease? Come on now, like Imhotep, I gave you every other piece of evidence to support what I said. It's not like I said Imhotep has the letter O in it, and so does Joseph. There you go. I didn't say that. So yeah, that's why the timelines don't match up. They wanna hide as much of this information as they could. I said that in that video. So y'all either have a comprehension issue or y'all just didn't hear me. No disrespect to this brother right here, but no, I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not a history teacher, but I want to make one thing clear. Everybody that teaches has something called a curriculum they have to follow. In other words, they can't do their own research and then teach that. They have to study a curriculum that's given to them by the powers that be, whichever high up that comes, and then they got to teach that. I'm not under those restrictions. Lucky for me, I have my own brain. I found the information that I had, and I put it out there. Yes, I use the Bible and I use the internet. Where the fuck else would you get your information? It's not 1964. I mean, it's good to read books, of course. I read. Reading is a good thing. But the internet it's at your fingertips. You might as well use it. And this guy said he uses the Bible and the internet as well, but he doesn't believe everything he sees. Well, guess what? There was nothing on the internet that straight up said that Imhotep is Joseph. Just speculation. And then a lot of people brought up this Ron Wyatt, something like that. And this guy in particular tried to allege that I got my information from him. I have no idea. Even to this day, I didn't go out of my way to look this man up. You know, I'm not somebody that I don't really like being taught by anybody, if I'm being completely honest. Don't get me wrong. I listen to people and I've got great information from different people, but I'm not under any camps, and I don't look for any religious leaders or any authority on history, like, because at the end of the day, a lot of them have their own agendas. So no, I don't know who Ron Wyatt is, and no, I'm not a history teacher or an archaeologist. I'm just somebody with a brain and some eyes. Now, there's a comment that I showed you guys in the graphic right before this statement. I love this comment right here, at least the first part. I think I'm only going to show you guys the first part of the comment, even though he said some, he backed up the statement. But just to keep it short, I'm going to show you the top part. You guys can check the video to see all the comments if you want. But he basically said that all these secular stories, really, they pale in comparison to the detail of the Bible. I really don't. I think I just wanted to see where Joseph existed in secular history, since Egyptian history is somewhat kept. Y'all think that they was light-skinned Jewish-looking niggas or whatever, but that's besides the point. Their history is quite kept, and for anybody that knows real history, we all know that the Egyptians were dark-skinned or even darker than me. So I'm not arguing that, and I'm gonna do a video on the identity of Israel probably at some point. But we all know that the Egyptians were black, and keep on to that information, because the rest of this video is gonna be addressing a series of comments that a young lady commented under the video concerning the Old Testament and why she doesn't really take it as gospel. But yeah, like, the Bible explains in detail a lot of the events that happened before us. you know. So to see the comparisons between Imhotep and Joseph and just kind of say, you know, those have nothing to do with each other, to me is crazy. All right, so that goes that part. All right. So this part's gonna be addressing a series of comments, very respectful comments, cause there's a lot of niggas when it comes to the Bible, they just feel like they have an authoritative on telling people who's dumb and who's not when they might not understand something 100%. You know, I understood where she was coming from, and you know we had a respectful exchange, but I just want to clarify a couple things. All right, before we get into the Bible, one of the main things we must understand. Let me just start off with what I want to address. One of the points that she made, that I don't know how she got to this point, but she said that Noah only had two sons, that being Shem and Ham. But Japheth is definitely his son, and I'm gonna show you where it says that. So in Genesis chapter 5, we get all the generations of the line of Noah, starting from Adam. See, I just wanted to make sure. So Genesis chapter 5, verse 1, you see right here, it says, "This is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that God created man in the likeness of God made he him," right? So we get all these generations from, you know, verse 1. And then by the time we get to the last verse, chapter 5, verse 32, it says, "And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat" who? Shem, Ham, and who? Japheth. So I don't know where you got the idea, you know, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, because it seems like somebody misled you or mistaught you, because whoever did that really did you a disservice. I could see if we had to assume that he had three sons under these names, but it says right here in chapter 5, verse 32, Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat who? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, so he definitely did have those men. Those are his boys. Those are his sons. We also need to understand these three boys were born before the flood, and they were born into the civilization of life, you know, the civilizations that they had before the flood. These three guys, they didn't own anything. They weren't really the forefathers of anyone, you know. And that's clarified. Give me 1 second to find it. So yeah, as I was saying before, chapter 5 just lays out all the generations, because a lot of things and a lot of people, you know, came to fruition, came to light between Adam and Noah. A lot of those people weren't important enough to, you know, mention in detail. Genesis is already a long book. So imagine going through the specific details of all the people between Adam and Noah. So the generations, the purpose of that was to introduce Noah in the 32nd verse of chapter 5. Chapter 6 just gives you a layout of the things that were going on around that time. You know, just to give a small breakdown, you know, it was just defiled. Anybody that's into the Bible, we all know that was what was going on around the time of the flood. And then we skip over to chapter 7, and it says, "And the Lord said unto Noah, Come, thou and thy house into the ark." And obviously, Noah wasn't about to strap his house onto some rope, tie it to his back, and bring it to the ark. His house is talking about him, his sons, his wife, and their wives. That's what that's talking about. Once again, I'm just laying out Noah, his sons, and this all happened before the flood. And as we know, the flood was meant to destroy everything on this earth. Civilizations, animals. If you were not on that ark, you were clipped off. All right? So, let's continue. And just before I continue, I want to go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 17. For those of y'all that want to say, well, maybe he didn't destroy everything. Well, right here it says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 17, "And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy" what flesh? All flesh. It didn't say some flesh or most of the flesh, all flesh. Noah was the only, come on guys, Noah was the only DNA post-flood. Because why? he came here to destroy all flesh with the flood. Wow, my finger was all out the way. I'm looking through the camera, guys. Wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. All right? That didn't include Noah. Why? Because the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house unto the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So Noah was good. All right? Let's continue. Now, to add on to the point that there was nobody here, we're going to get, let's see, this is Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. What would be there to replenish if there were other people here? All right. It was Noah, his seed, and their wives. That was the only things that were here. Now, we're going to have to use a little secular information for me to make a point. Everybody knows that the first people on this earth was black. All right. There's no argument for that. You can look it up. Life was found in Africa. As a matter of fact, the Garden of Eden was in Iraq. And I know, oh, they were Middle Eastern. They looked Arabic. Arab, the word Arab means mixed race. All right. So we're not even going to go there. I don't know what the fuck you were mixing. Excuse me. I don't know what you were mixing with one race on the earth, because Eve was essentially just a clone of Adam. She was made from his rib. So if Adam was black, she had to be black, and then everybody between Adam and Noah had to be black, and that includes Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, so I know let me just continue a little bit before I get into this next point, which was she was confused about Japheth being the oldest, although he's credited with being the progenitor of the Europeans. I guess, for a lack of a better term, Africa and what she was mentioning, that was all before the flood, and then had a reemergence with Ham. The conventional Africa that you would think of, that reemerged with Ham. And we're going to get to that in a second. All right, moving on to Genesis chapter 10. It says right here, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tirash, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan. I'm not going to read all that. Long story short, all these names, if you were to look them up, these are going to be the European section. That's what Japheth pretty much inherited. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mitzrayim, put in Canaan. All right. So the reason why I emphasize the name of Canaan is because the first civilization in the world, just to clear up the thoughts of the sister I'm making this part of the video for, Mesopotamia, we all know that's the first civilization credited post-flood, because hold on, excuse me, the Garden of Eden I don't think was in Iraq. It was Mesopotamia. Excuse me. Mesopotamia is the first civilization post-flood. This is where the Canaanites resided, along with Shemites. All right. So although Japheth is older, it doesn't mean that all these civilizations popped off before Canaan. All right. So they all had their part in replenishing the earth post-flood. Before I move on, I don't think there's any biblical context for this that I found yet, but the sister tried to say that the Bantu and the Lemba were Ham. As a matter of fact, that's all credited to Shem. If we're going to talk about those racial lineages, that's Shem. Or at least right now, those are the people credited with probably being one of the only races of people to hold that lineage. And if you know who you are, if you are a so-called black man of the captivity that was brought over here, then yes, you are Shem. All right? Just because you're black. I mean, especially in these times, what did being black really mean? Especially if you were Shem or Ham, you know? And I'm bringing up Shem and Ham because that's what a lot of the Bible takes place in, especially in the Old Testament. All of those people were black. All right? You're not going to sit here and tell me they were mixing up Egyptians with the so-called Caucasian Jews that you call it today. And yes, that did happen. All right? They confused the Egyptians with the Israelites because of their skin color. from a distance. They didn't see, they were see the I think it was the Romans that was it the Romans? I forget which group saw the Israelites mourning, but they confused them with the Egyptians. And no, it wasn't because of how they were dressed. If you see a so-called white man wearing a fitted cap with tin boots and a puffy coat, you're not gonna sit here and think, oh, he must be a black man. That's ridiculous. All right. And one last thing I want to address. The sister was confused calling Ham the Asiatic black man, but that's all Shem. When you look up Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, Aram, you know, all these lineages in chapter 10, you know, starting around, where was we? 22. Chapter 10, 22 in Genesis. That gives out the lineage of Shem. That's all what you would call the region of the, quote, Asiatic black man. Once again, Ham, that's what you think about, you know, Africa, like modern day, like what we would think African people, that's Ham. Middle East, that's Shem, and plus, you know, those of us that are stuck in the Americas and other parts of the world, that's Shem. And then Japheth, I'm not gonna lie to you, his lineage is just fucking lost. Like, I'm not gonna lie, after this part in Genesis, you probably don't really talk about Japheth too much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, they went off to Europe, and then you know, they did their thing out there. So no, Ham is not the Asiatic black man. But since you understand that you come from the Asiatic black man, now you know that you're Shem. And, of course, depending on your lineage, that can trickle down to you being of the nation of Israel. But not every Shemite is an Israelite. All right? Every Israelite's a Shemite, but not every Shemite's an Israelite. So, everybody should do their research on their lineage. And let me just say something before I cut this off. If you're a Caucasian Jew, I'm going to tell you right now, you are a Shemite. If people don't like you, I guess they could say it's anti-Semitic. Wow, I just now peeped that. My girl's in the room. That's who I'm talking to. They call it anti-Semitic. They don't call it anti-Israelite or anti... You know why? Because they know they're Shemites, but they're not Israel. But that's a video for another day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. If there's anything I missed or any information you'd like to pass on to me, comment down below. All right? I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.